All right, hey everybody, this is Darkseid Elite here, and got my buddy Hawk, and we're gonna be talking about the Joker. I've seen the movie already,
Yeah.
and so has he, and we're gonna voice our opinions about what we liked or disliked about the movie, and uh, and put place what anything that we feel that DC should be doing at this present point in junction with some of their other movies. Maybe take the criticisms that the Joker has done and what they could be doing for their future projects. All right. So, okay, for me, I saw the movie, and of course, and I thought the movie was near perfect for the type of story that they were doing. It it was the right type of story to do. They did as a almost like a it felt like it was done in the late 70s, early 80s.
hmm
The type of tempo, the mood, and the cinematography felt like it was actually coming out of an early 80s movie. The type of the font that
Intensity.
we, huh?
Intensity that
Yeah,
movies used to have.
yep. And also the font that they used at the very beginning was very cool. I liked how they used it. They also used the old Warner Brothers intro to their movies. That was the old Warner Brothers. I mean, ever since since I was little. I think even you remember some of the movies that
Yeah.
had that old Warner
I,
Brothers
I want to
label on it.
interject on that. Listened to the director about that, the credits. He
Mm-hmm.
said that they did an animation still, like somebody drew it out on an animation still,
Mm-hmm.
and then they imposed that on top of the film itself. So that's why it looks all crazy and old and cool looking. And that's why you
Cool.
see all kind of like the strangeness on the letters, like blurring away in some weird fashion. He wanted that old fashioned awesomeness that movies used to have with the credits. So
Yeah.
that's how he did that.
Sweet. Okay. Um, now, about the character Arthur Fleck, we come with this character, and I did this in my review. The one thing I really liked was I liked how they addressed his laugh. They made it where it was a mental illness. It was a part of a mental deficiency that he had because of a severe head injury he occurred when he was a kid. And I like
Yep.
the fact that because of his detachment to his emotions, that when he feels a certain level of emotion, he just bursts out laughing. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He wants everyone to realize that he's not laughing at them. He's just
Well, the
not.
thing too, it was over like high emotional stress, which usually was sadness
Yeah.
that made him do that. Like anytime he was feeling like a little bit of joy,
Uh-huh.
some scumbag citizen made sure he felt that suffering. And every time he got close to getting just a little bit of happiness in this movie, somebody had to interject and make a big deal out of something that wasn't that serious. And the bus scene was sad for me because, first of all, that
Oh, that
made
lady was
that
a
kid.
scumbag. That lady was a scumbag.
Yeah. So now that's what I'm leading to. Like
Yeah.
that now that kid is going to see anybody that's not black as a person never to talk to
Yep.
or even connect to.
Yep.
The way she alienated every other culture except for black culture. She just
Mhm.
totally alienated that kid into a bubble
Mhm.
of hatred that should have never been there. That
Nope.
kid was smiling.
He wasn't
Arthur
bothering
was happy
anybody.
with
Yeah.
making him laugh. And then she made us like, can you stop bothering the kid? He's not bothering the kid. Like he's making the kid enjoy the mundane bus ride over a long bridge.
Yep.
He is making the mundane enjoyable. Like, what's wrong with you? You don't want happiness for your child because why? Because you feel like your kid stole something from you because you opened your legs and then you ended up in a stuck pipe. Baby daddy took off and now you're stuck with your kid. So your kid showed happiness and you got upset. That's what that was. Then when she saw it was a white man, she made it even worse. It's like, oh, you white on top of that. My kid can't be happy. No white person makes black people happy. Like, okay, like fuck you too. like, Here's a
Oh,
card.
okay.
Like,
Okay,
fuck.
okay. All right, we should already we should already show. Okay, so we're gonna get some cursing in here. Okay, I hope that people can
Oh yeah,
understand that.
sorry, man.
we,
Yes, I do that a
we're
lot.
yeah,
I'm very emotional when it comes to stuff like this, especially when it comes to comic movies. So
okay.
anybody who happens to listen to us, whenever somebody finally listens to this,
Mhm.
enjoy. Because I lived in New York for a long time and I've seen it a lot. And if I made a kid laugh, the parent never act like that with me. However, I'm not as frail looking as Arthur in the movie. I'm
Yeah.
quite a big dude apparently to people. So that kind of made them take a step back by reacting a certain way
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So
So, I like the fact that they were showing that it was a mental illness with him. That, uh, and I agree with Hawk. I believe that yeah, it was sadness and also a little bit of anger. It was anger
yeah,
too,
and
because
he was holding that back a lot. You noticed
he was
that
holding
though.
back a
Like,
lot of his anger, and he was put instead of laughing in certain ways, he was actually projecting them in other ways. Like he was like it showed in one point that he was
oh,
um
when he's confused, that one
huh
where he got confused with the situation with the gun, and he did that laugh on the way out.
yeah, but no, it was the one where he was messing around with the shoe. It looked like he was actually twisting and contorting the shoe, but he was just opening up the shoe to put his foot in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked like he was straining really hard to open up that shoe, but I think that he was actually projecting his anger through that shoe because it took a while for him
and breaking in
to
the leather.
yeah,
He's breaking in the leather in
yeah,
a
like he's
different way.
breaking into leather. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So
you see how his spine just like
yeah, it like was
it
popping out. Yeah,
protruded out of his skin, and it's like, whoa, he
yeah.
malnutrition for real, man.
I
Like
know,
this
right?
guy, do you eat, bro? Like, your mom took the food from you when you were growing up, which we found out was true. That's actually what happened, but you didn't know that at that point. At that point, you're
Mm,
like, do you starve yourself to death? Are you anorexic, bro? Like, what's going
yeah.
on? Are you taking some kind of drug? Like, you get confused with that, and then later on, you find out the mom was a nutcase.
Yeah. And the well
Oh yeah,
the and and also there I really like that. Now um I think no, I don't think. I believe that Joaquin Phoenix with Todd Phillips's direction, they knew what they wanted with Arthur Fleck. They knew that they needed to show a very broken individual that was trying his best to be a fully functional person in the society, and it was just like Hawk said. Every time he was feeling any ounce of happiness, some scumbag showed up and basically kicked, basically in an instant, kicked him in the nuts. He kicked him in the nuts and laughed at him. So he's just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Why are people acting this way? He's not bothering anybody. He's not trying to be influential to anybody. He just wants to make people laugh. He just wants to be a normal person. But it just seems like the world doesn't want him to be normal. They want to put him in a bubble. No, I'm sorry. They want to put him in a different box category and not even look at him. And I also believe in the movie there was a part in there that they tried to show with his individuality, that he wasn't feeling like an individual. He was feeling like he had no identity at all, and he didn't have a strong enough ego about himself to actually put himself out there because of his mental illness, and he didn't know how to express that. And with his but what we saw in the movie with how he was writing his jokes, his handwriting, he seemed like he didn't have a very high IQ, but that could also be contributed to the fact of he doesn't have a good ego about himself. His whole personality is very withdrawn and in a way sheltered.
with that
So
and the what his mom did to him,
yeah,
and the neighborhood he grew up in. I
yeah,
mean, what kind of education you're really gonna get? Like, you and I both went to public school.
yep,
So how much education can we truly get in public school? Now,
yeah,
somehow, when we grew up in the 80s, 90s, all that, right? When we finished elementary to junior high and high school,
hmm,
we actually have a better education back then with us in public school
hmm,
than kids have now.
oh
And
yeah,
it's kind of sad. Like, I asked some kid that was in high school, and I'm like, hey, did you guys read Catcher in the Rye or Beowulf or any of the Shakespeare's? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like, wow, man, like you guys are getting dumber.
Yeah.
And it's they're not getting the cool stories that we used to read.
No,
Man,
they're not getting the
Animal
enrichment.
Farm. I mentioned Animal Farm, no clue.
Wow.
Charlotte's Web, no clue.
Clue.
I'm like,
Animal Farm is a very
okay.
self-reflection. It's a good reflection on uh,
But Animal
but
Farm could be
society.
compared to this movie.
Yeah.
It could be compared to this movie. Look at
Yeah.
how society turned and was trying to uprise, like how the animals uprise against the farmers and all this.
Yep.
Like that, this is a comic book movie version of Animal Farm with people. And anybody
Yeah.
who's ever read that, and if you didn't, you
Go
better
read
read
it.
it.
Go read it. Yeah.
Not go read it, you better read it. And
Yeah.
then you'll understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm dyslexic, man, and that story was cool.
Yeah.
It was when I comic
I
books
think
is
I read it like
great.
4 times in school. I read that book 4 times in school. It was an awesome book. But
I read it once. Yeah.
um now now we catch up with Sophie Drummond. That's Zazie Bays' character, and her character was pretty nice. She actually treated him pretty fairly from what we saw in the movie, and
At
then
a
for
distance.
yeah, she she was kind of nice to him, and he was kind of nice to her. I think that she kind of kept her distance because she didn't know who this type of guy was, and who knows what her backstory was. But again, they her the focus was not supposed to be on her. The focus was supposed to be on Arthur, and we're supposed to just get I would say a superficial understanding of their relation, their first interaction. So from their first interaction, it seems like he tried to she said a joke. He basically replied with another joke, which made it which untensed the mood. So she chuckled, he kind of laughed, and then she goes to her apartment, he goes to his, and he does the same joke that she did, and it kind of in a way put back the tension again. So
It more than did that because
yeah,
she realized something.
it kind of in a way it kind of what the hell's the word, it put a foretelling to it, like something's gonna happen, because the way the music just completely shifted from the a friendly mood to a very intense scene. It seems
Cape
like there
Fear.
was like foreboding, a foreboding type of mentality in that
All of a
scene.
sudden, it turned into The Shining.
Yeah, right.
Oh, like what's going on? What is this guy? You got to find out, man.
Yeah,
Years
right.
from now, this guy is gonna be great. Like I
So
loved how he what was that in the beginning when he got jumped by the fucking excuse me
oh,
the
by those punk
kid.
kids.
So he went to go for the sign and then he stopped and then he pressed the water on the flower and then just laid there. I'm like, what? Like this dude is like, it's cool. Like, I'm just gonna lay here though. I'm kind of hurt, but he just kind of he rolled with it for a little bit though. And then what I enjoyed, and I don't care what anybody says, these people deserved it. It was uncool of them. And I've seen these dudes. I work nightclubs. These dudes, that type of stuff is going to happen to guys like this.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, the the so-called rich elite, white privilege scumbags,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them a lot, and I deny them in clubs all the time because they think they're better than you. And
Oh yeah.
I'm mixed, man. I'm half Irish. I'm mixed, but you don't get it to come over here and say you're better than me. You're not better than me until you bleed for this country. You can never say you're better than anybody.
Right.
And when you bleed for this country, then you and I can actually talk on equal ground. But until then, shut up.
Right.
So them coming at him like that on the subway, and this happens in New York quite often. It was kind of sad. Like you didn't even let this guy be. You're drunk, you're a scumbag, you're white privilege, and you got a great job. Meanwhile, you see this guy in a clown outfit. He just got laid off. He
Yeah, he
was
doesn't look
enjoying himself in
happy.
the hospital before that, making these kids laugh. But however, he had something he shouldn't have had on him
Yeah.
in a certain way, but it happened. And he's sitting there like not knowing what to do, and he started laughing to himself. And I think he was laughing because he was like, "Well, damn, I guess shit happens," and he started laughing. But then it became the disorder that he has, the illness that it just became uncontrollable. First, it was like kind of a chuckle to himself, like, "Yeah, I guess that's life." You just roll with it, I guess. And he just went out of control. And then these guys took it upon themselves, like, well, since we can't beat up regular people, and we're gonna be in a group together, because if they were by themselves, this would never happen. They would be afraid of him if they were by themselves. If it was
Yeah,
just
it was
one,
just one.
they
Maybe
would
yeah,
have
if
been
it was just the
afraid of
one of
him
them. Yeah,
and stayed away from him.
yeah,
But since they're drunken together, and I see this happen with the white privileged people all the time, they think because they're in the group that they're gonna win the fight all the time. I put many of you to sleep. You better realize this. Stop acting like that, because there's people who are going to enjoy doing that, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So they got gunned down because he couldn't defend himself. Man, you already know this guy is frail.
hmm
He has a mental breaking point, and he finally broke. And he used the so-called gift from this guy at work, the gun, the 38, and he,
hmm
he shot the guy. And
yep,
then the other guy was like, "Whoa!" And he was like, "Nah, you too." And then the other guy went to escape, and I'm like, "Okay,
right,
run, Porky!" Like the way over,
right,
run. He's like bacon,
yeah,
like,
right,
pepper, pepper. Like
yep.
I was like, "Where the magic?" But this is what I got though with continuity. Where'd the magic bullets come from?
I know, right? That's
Because he should have been
that's
out, bro. Like
I
that's a
know.
six
He
shooter.
he
Where are
should.
the extras?
Where do
All of a
you?
sudden he had four. He's like pepper, like
Yeah,
extra.
right. He
Got
shot.
magic powers
Yeah,
out of
I remember
nowhere.
him shooting what 4 times in the subway, and then he
Fired
basically
once
ended.
and missed, and he had one more shot. So that shot, he hit that guy, and he was crawling like a mouse who got his spinal cut by a cat. And he was crawling slowly. I'm thinking, oh man, he's gonna stomp this dude's head in the stairs. Magic bullets of craziness. Bam, 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 bam. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
I know, right?
I counted, bro. Like this
I
dude
know,
didn't have
right?
extra bullets. You didn't see him loading up, bro. Like, so
Nope.
where'd the magic bullets come from? He was like, the power of the crazy. And all of a
Right.
sudden, bam, bam, bam. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So that was the continuity part of that. That kind of was funny, but
Yeah, it was. That is
he
kind
should
of
have
funny.
stomped him out or beaten to death with a gun like that. I
Yeah.
think that would have been better though. I think that would have been better because that's continuity. It should have went click. Oh, stomp, 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 stomp with clown shoes on top of that. That would have been funny.
Right.
See you later, and then take off. He's like,
Yeah, we have
howdy
a very
doody.
morbid. We have a very morbid sense of humor.
that's that's what I would have put, and that's a Joker situation. That's
Yeah.
him kind of flip the script. Ah, the gun, bang, nothing happened. That's where he got that from. Stomp,
Mm,
stomp, stomp.
right.
Enjoy.
Right.
Have a nice day, and he starts running. But the scene when he finally got back to his apartment building, and that dance when he
No, no,
was
he wasn't in his apartment. It
or
was when
or where was
he
it,
was in a
laundromat or
bathroom.
something like
Yeah, he was
he
in a
went.
bathroom.
No, but he was in his building though. Like he was in the basement of his building. He just entered a different way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, he was in. Yeah, he did enter his building. He just was
He was
in
in a
the
bathroom.
basement bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that dance in the mirror, it was very poetic. It was
Yeah.
like I felt free for a moment in my life, and
He
let me
felt in
let this
control.
energy out.
He
Yeah,
felt in
like
control.
he finally had something, and
Yeah.
then it was fleeting because then you got the mother boasting about somebody that wants nothing to do with them. Now leading to that person that wants nothing to do with them, Thomas Wayne.
hmm
Okay, mama's crazy, whatever, and that woman always plays crazy people. Whew, wow. American Horror Story, people. American Horror Story. Watch it. She's the crazy maid in one of the seasons. Freaky woman. Anyways, creepy woman. This is why she gets these roles. She belongs in horror movies. So uh, this bothered me a lot, and all for two. It bothered me a lot. So he gets the story about. Well, first he's angry about it, but then he goes and tries to find out about Thomas Wayne and is it his possible father, blah blah blah. He meets Bruce. He tries to make Bruce happy. He feels like I could be a big brother, like I could protect you. I'm a little on the wonky side, but I will never let anything happen to you. Like that was the whole thing. Then
Hmm.
Alfred shows up and treats him like mud. Now, first of all, Alfred would never do that. He holds himself in a regard of I treat everybody with kindness and hopes that they too would learn kindness. That's his whole mentality. Don't go beating on somebody for no reason. Have a true reason for it. And what he did, Alfred would have never done that. He would have pulled Bruce away and said, "Hey, head back to the manor." And he would have talked to Arthur in a certain way that was polite and respectful. And then he would have mentioned, "Hey, look, I understand that your mother worked here." And he would have started explaining the situation with mother because he was there.
Yep.
Alfred's always been there. So he would explain to him in a nice, polite manner. So that would have been his first dose of the truth of what he is. It would have upset Arthur, but Alfred would have never disrespected him like he was a pig rolling around in feces all day. And pigs are clean, so that tells you a lot. He treated them like that, and I didn't like that. And then the response of Thomas Wayne to the public when he was on TV calling people clowns. Thomas Wayne is a stoic, and if you don't know what a stoic is, look it up. This dude would have been so proper and complete that everything he said would have been something that needed to be said, but would have never disrespected people who were poor. And me, myself, suffering that, I would have never been mad at this guy. He would have explained, hey, look, there's people in society that do things that make us feel uncomfortable. And we're always going to have that unless we make a change. And I would like to make a change now. So I would like to run for mayor to help make that change for a better Gotham. And that would have been his real answer. But no, he called everybody clowns. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't do that. He's a stoic. So when Arthur confronts him again in the bathroom, Thomas punches him. I'm like, whoa, he would never do that. He's a stoic. He would have been proper. He would explain to Arthur, look, man, if you don't believe me, I will make sure that when you go to Arkham Asylum, find out the truth. I'll make sure you could get the file on your mother because you obviously don't know what happened, and I'll make sure you get to read that file. And then we could come back together and talk again after that. If you want to do that, I will make a couple calls. That's what he would have done. He would have never punched him because Arthur wasn't confrontational. He was upset, but he wasn't confrontational. He wasn't going to get physical. So Thomas would have never got physical. Now, if Arthur laid hands on him, then he would have laid him out, but he would have been proper about it. And that upset me. Those two characters who would have never been like that, treating him like mud, upset me. Stoic people don't do that because Alfred is also a stoic.
Okay. Um, the Alfred one, I agree with. I think that the way that they portrayed Alfred in this was kind of, yeah, that was kind of strange. I didn't really
Yep.
look at that part. I was more in tune about what is Arthur gonna do about anything. I didn't look at Alfred that way.
Yeah. That
But
bothered me a lot.
that does bother me because okay, for me it's like this. You could portray Thomas, however, you could portray Thomas like they could have done in the Telltale series because they made him more. He was ruthless. He did whatever he wanted to
Look, but
do.
you could be
You
a
know.
stoic could still be ruthless, but
Hmm.
they're polite about it. They
Um.
have a straight face about it.
Yeah.
They're straightforward about it. They're not going to show anger like he did. He showed anger, and Stoics don't do that. He would
I
have
know.
been
I know.
straight
No. No. No.
faced,
No. No.
polite, and moved on.
I understand that, and I think there's a reason why they did that with Thomas. But Alfred, I think that they should have kept Alfred way closer to his roots, and I do agree that he would have
Proper Stoic from England.
he would have been they could have he'd have been that proper British butler. That's the way they
Yep,
could have
and
done
very
him.
polite.
Very polite. He would have been like, "Listen, what is your name?" He goes, "I'm Arthur Fleck." He goes, "So you're Penelope's son?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Yes. You know my mom?" He goes, "Yes, I do know your mother. And why are you here?" and he would have told him why he was here, and he would explain to us like, oh, okay, well, there's a lot that you don't know, son. And here's the reason why. He would explain to him. He would,
Yeah, he would have
and you
been
know,
really
and you
nice
know,
about it
yeah. And Bruce would have been probably about 10 feet away from it because he would have stopped and listened to what's going on because that's
because
that's the
Bruce is
way.
very inquisitive. Yeah,
Bruce is very inquisitive, but also kids are just very inquisitive. He's meeting
yeah.
this guy. He's meeting this guy for the first time. He's
But
not
he
being
didn't feel threatened
rude.
by him, though.
He
That's the
Yeah, he
thing.
didn't feel
He
threatened
allowed
by
him
him.
to
He
get
didn't.
close. Bruce doesn't do that. Even
Yeah.
when his parents were alive, he did not do that. He allowed this guy to get. He felt a connection to him.
Uh huh.
And remember when I told you I met Jerry Robinson, the
Yeah.
creator of Joker, and I personally asked him. I was like, "Did you make the Joker to be the big brother messing with the little brother?" And he said, "That's exactly how I made it." And I still have that picture. And a year later, he passed away. And I was like, man, but hearing that from the man who created the Joker in the comics, saying exactly my theory, that was very gratifying. Like he was super
Yeah.
cool, and I was like, man, that we just lost out on somebody that was really awesome. And he
Mm-hmm.
passed away a year later after that, and I was like, it's really nice that I get. And I thought I lost the last sketch he did. It's not really the greatest Joker sketch, but he was in his 80s at that time, and he was in a wheelchair, and he
Yeah. Who
wasn't writing too
cares?
well.
I've been like, I don't care, dude.
And
He
he
could he
gave
could
me
have
that
drew it like,
sketch, and
yeah. I mean, he
I
could have
took it,
drew
man,
like,
with a smile on my face. I
yeah,
should
yeah,
have got
yeah,
the book too, but then I wanted Christine to have stuff from Comic Con and everything. Yeah,
yeah.
that's my wife. And this guy that was with him kept pushing it. And Jerry was looking at me, seeing me in a certain way, like he was thinking I could be a villain or something. I don't know. Like not really. The way he looked at me was very different, but intrigued of I have self control, but I'm getting annoyed with this nerd, and I'm about to freaking choke him out in front of his boss, but I didn't do it, and I just stood my ground a certain way, and I explained to him because at that time I didn't have much money, I didn't have a job at the time, but my wife,
Yeah.
she was working, and she wanted me to go to Comic Con and all that stuff.
Cool.
It was during a sad time of my life that I lost somebody close to me. I almost didn't go.
Oh,
Thank God I did because I got
yeah.
to meet him and a few others.
Cool.
But yeah, Joker's my
But
favorite villain, and to have the guy tell me that what he was, and that scene just gratified me a lot when Bruce allowed him to get close and give him somewhat of happiness in a way, I guess. So, like Bruce is like very quiet as a kid,
yeah,
looking at
yeah,
him.
he's supposed to be a very solemn child.
Yeah,
He had a
like
good the way they constructed was he had in almost all the iterations that I've ever read,
he had one friend.
he had a good childhood, but he was a pretty solemn child. He was a pretty
Yeah,
solemn
like
child. So,
he was
but
destined for better things.
yeah, right. So
Here he
okay,
goes.
so the whole Thomas Wayne thing, and I understand what you're coming from with that. I think they wanted to construct that Thomas Wayne. The way they constructed Thomas Wayne, from what I saw in the scenes, was he was very upset over the fact that three of his workers were killed. Now I understand how you felt about it. I do. I understand that these guys are scumbags. They're
Thomas
scumbags,
does do that though, but
and
he would have never acted that way. Like, oh, they didn't deserve this. No, no, he would have known which ones it was. He would know if their personality sucks. He's like, look, I get it. They went overboard when they were drunk, and
yeah,
somehow things went
that's
awry.
exactly what I mean. I think that the way they constructed Thomas Wayne is he was reacting. I don't think that this was the classic Thomas Wayne. I think this was more the businessman Thomas Wayne, not the doctor Thomas Wayne. Because Thomas Wayne, if he's a doctor, he's a Hippocratic oath. He's not going to do any harm to nobody. He will
Nope,
get
and not
physical if
say
he needs
anything
to.
bad to nobody.
Yeah,
But even the
but
business one doesn't
he
call
won't he
people clowns. Like he
exactly.
doesn't do that.
But this the way
Knows.
that one of the things that kind of that no that upsetted me about how they were talking about this version of Thomas Wayne. They made this Thomas Wayne off the basis of Trump. He's
Right, and that's
he's a
not
no
what he
nonsense
was.
businessman, and I
People
went,
no, but that bothered me a lot too. Like
yeah. So
he was a businessman that rebuilt Gotham. He
yeah,
built the subway system better so that way it was safer, cleaner. People didn't have to worry about getting mugged all the time. Like his freaking people who tried to beat the tar out of him. That
and
the
also
subway system was being fixed.
also if you really look at the scene on the subway, he those three guys. they were probably going to either rape that woman or assault her
Yeah.
because they were looking at her like, oh, she looks good and blah, blah. You knew they were going to
Yep.
do something with her. So I
They
had
were
a
going to
feeling,
do something evil. They deserved everything they got.
yeah.
They were
So
peppered just
so
right.
I mean, again, anybody who says, well, I mean, like how Hawk is saying it. Like, listen, I've read a lot of Batman. I've read tons of Batman. David knows, Hawk knows, he knows, and I agree. I agree. That's not Thomas Wayne, but the way they're constructing his version of Thomas, he he is a no nonsense businessman that cares about the city, but he's rich. And that's all he cares about. He was caring more about his rich status. And you've seen it when he was making his speech. He was talking that, we are the pillars of society here. The city is failing, so I'm putting my name in the hat to try to fix the city. So, well, what do you think about the murder that happened with those three guys? Well, I think it's a disgrace because they were these three young men who had their lives ahead of them. They were snuffed out by a freaking crazy guy in a clown mask, which was makeup, and he's a
Right, but
coward.
they didn't know that.
They didn't know all that. So
He would have
so
just specified that one, like he's okay. That I understand. That's another route he would have went. He would have only specified on the one.
yeah,
He called everybody
yeah,
clowns at a certain
yeah.
point. I'm like,
Oh yeah, he
oh,
did.
dude,
Yeah, and like I
why?
said, yeah. So the way I saw it was he was showing his elitism. He was showing right off the bat, like you said, the biggest thing about the whole purpose of this movie is to show that they're better than anybody else, which the Waynes are not. You can get murdered just like anybody else, which is what happened to the freaking Waynes. You got
Yeah.
shot like anybody else, so you're not better
You
than
took him to a
anybody.
movie and went opie dopey like
Yeah.
for a pearl
So
necklace, bro. Give it up. Like
yeah.
buy a new
So
one. Like okay, here's a couple lead
yeah.
in
So
exchange
I
for a
mean,
broken necklace.
yeah. So I understand how everybody feels. I do. But we don't know very much about this version of Thomas. We can only speculate from how he was acting, that the way, and also from what Todd Phillips was discussing, that he built this character off of the basis of Trump, that he's a no nonsense businessman. But the difference between Thomas Wayne and Donald Trump, and I don't care what anybody says, Donald Trump does care about people. This man goes down, takes care of unions, he takes care of his workers. This man, when Donald Trump was building his empire again from bankruptcy for the first time, he made sure that his workers were paid before
Yep.
he was paid. So I don't
And
care.
that
I,
I
I
know
don't. I don't
DeNiro.
care. I don't care what anybody says about that. If you have a boss that's willing to say, hey, you know what? I'll help. I'll make sure you're paid before I'm paid. Then that shows he cares about the people that he works with. So Thomas is more saying that I'm better than you, so my name is Wayne and I'm better than you. And that's what we
Yeah,
got
that's
through that whole
annoying.
movie. So again, I understand, but we just
But
didn't
with
know very much about this version of
going
Thomas
back with
Wayne.
Trump, like I don't really like the guy of how he says things, but
Hmm.
I being in New York, I learned a lot of what he actually did. He rebuilt Grand Central Terminal.
Yeah.
Like he rebuilt it, like he revitalized it, made it pretty, all this stuff. But there are other things that he's done that you're like, damn, dude, why would you do that? That makes no sense. So there were things that he did that hindered, but there was a lot of things that he did where he revitalized buildings, made it easier for people to live in. But then he had a lot of buildings that were elitist. So it's like, come on, he's rich. Like, what do you expect? Like, he's gonna
Yeah.
have
I
his
mean,
elitist
yeah. He's
buildings. He's gonna have certain things that he done for you. He helped firefighters and all this stuff. Like,
hmm
you're crapping all over this guy, but you're gonna learn when he's out of office. You're gonna learn everything that he did, whether or not it's gonna hurt us. Now, Obama hurt us. I don't care what anybody says. That guy hurt us quite a bit.
hmm
I say that's the part of Thomas Wayne. It's the Obama attitude that, well, yeah, so yeah, and that's all I heard from Obama a lot. Like he never really had. People are like, oh, he's such a great speaker. No, he's not. Well, and the runaround that I do a lot, and I run around a lot. And I'm not answering your question. So yeah, I'm gonna run around it like Jeopardy, answering questions with questions. Like this guy was not a good speaker at all. He was very annoying to me. Clinton was our first black president. And screw all of you who don't think. You better pay attention. This man played saxophone, smoked weed, and had a good time in the Oval Office. Even though that wasn't the prettiest woman in the world, but he still had a better time than Obama. So he was upfront about what he was, and he played saxophone.
No said.
That's amazing.
No said.
Oh wait, and he lived in Harlem. That
Right?
tells you a lot.
Yeah, it tells you a lot. Yeah. So, so again, I understand how people felt about it. So, but I felt that they did it for a good foil for um, Arthur to deal with to push him over that edge even further because Thomas wasn't really fixing anything. He was more inciting more crap going on in the city.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, okay, but that's another thing too. Trump did that though. He made things a little bit worse when it came to what was it, Virginia, that situation where people got run over and all that. He made
mhm.
things a little worse, but it's like the dude doesn't watch what he says. He doesn't think about it until after it happens, and he's like, "Oops, can't get around that." So, anyways, it's too late. Moving on. Not gonna apologize. It happened. Moving on. But you see that I'm just I want him to be the Joker in all the movies. Like people are saying, oh, there shouldn't be a sequel to the Joker. I don't want a sequel either, but I do want him to stay the Joker in all the Batman movies. I want him to show up in any movie that is connected to the Joker. I want it. I want him to be our Joker because Jared Leto. Look, man, I like you as an actor and a rock star, but you were horrible Joker. You had that meth head Joker, wannabe gangster, scumbag attitude, rotten teeth looking, tacky tattoo all over your nasty body, looking pale white thing that you went on with the ugly purple leather jacket. Really, bro? Like, you could have went with tasteful tattoos because the Joker has taste.
Yeah.
Yes, his suit is purple, but man, it was a three-piece suit. He looked sharp. Like he
Yep.
was clean. Like you could not mess with his look. The color scheme might have been a little weird to people, but that man was clean. Like
Clean.
you did not. He was
You
crisp at all times.
the thing is that if you okay, let's break this down. Let's break this down. If you look at even let's go back to Jack Nicholson's Joker. Look at before when he was Jack Napier.
But he was
All
still
he
crisp.
did was just change the color scheme.
Change
He dressed
the
the
color
same
scheme.
way.
Yeah,
He dressed
he
the
was
same
still
way. He just changed the
crisp.
color scheme. He looked crisp because he has taste. He has a decorum about himself. He has a type of panache,
He
and that's
wants a
what made him
high
great.
life, but doesn't care about the money. Like you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like he wanted something, but Jared Leto's Joker. Ugh.
yeah, he was weird. It was off, and we didn't get very much of it,
It
and
was
that's what made
that
it
that
worse.
meth head crackhead thing going on, hooked up on heroin, like just craziness.
Yeah,
I would have never allowed him. I'm like, yo, first my favorite villain. You fuck him up, dude. I'm fucking you up.
yeah.
That would have been my as a director. I would have been like, yo, do it. I dare you. I dare you. Test me. Like,
now, now, now let's go to Heath's version. Yeah, it's not very comic book accurate, but if you look at his suit,
no,
he
okay.
paid
Think
$20
about it.
million dollars for it. It looked clean. He just
That was an
it looked
amazing suit. I
that was
like
a
that
clean
suit.
ass
It,
suit, dude.
it had like grenade capabilities,
Yep. He had
like
grenades in
extra
there,
guns,
knives,
knives.
a bat. He had a
he,
bat. It was like, come,
no,
are you
he
kidding
had
me?
all kinds of. I have all kinds of tricks up my back. I might not got a fancy belt, and I
Yeah.
got my
And
suit.
then he had a
Like he
chain.
didn't
He had a
care. He's
chain.
like,
He had a chain on his on a chain belt. He had a chain
yep.
on the side. Dude,
But
he
here's the
looked
funny
clean.
thing. I love when okay, going to Heath Ledger's Joker, which I have a tattoo of him, and I might get a tattoo of Joaquin's Joker now too, because
Hmm.
you know how I am about my Joker.
Yeah.
So, and the Heath one is the only Joker I got right now tattoo wise. Um, So with Heath, I love how he walked into the mob meeting, like really the mafia's meeting with each other. But all right,
Yeah.
whatever. This
Greatest scene out of the whole damn movie.
he's like, hey, you like my suit? You bought it. Like, oh no, dude, this guy just
He said,
rubbed it in his
I love
face.
that scene. He's sitting
He's
there
like, here's
tells
some
he's all
salt in your
he goes,
eye.
you like the
Here's a
suit?
lemon,
You ought
lemon.
to know, you bought it. He's all he's like
Oh yeah. He's like, wait, I got a magic trick. Watch. Bam, ta-da! It's gone.
it's gone.
Now this Joker, now I think of it as it is comic book accurate to me though because there's a person Joker that's exactly like this, very sinister. Uh, Dark Knight Returns, very sinister.
hmm
So this is a Joker. He's actually established already as a Joker. He
hmm
already fell into the darkness. He enjoys it. He loves the chaos. It's fun for him. His humor is not your humor, but hey,
It
he
doesn't
has a
matter.
humor. Like he thinks things are funny. You might not think it's funny, but he finds it hilarious that you get upset and he laughs at your frustrations because that's funny. And it is. People get frustrated sometimes, and you gotta laugh. Like, why are you so angry? It's kind of funny though. Like, but I don't understand it either. But it is what it is. He was already established as a sinister person who loved chaos.
hmm
That was already he already made it past that. Arthur was leading to that,
Yep.
so he embraced it completely at the end, where the lady's like, "Tell me a joke." He's like, "You wouldn't get it." Like, oh, that answer told you I embrace the chaos, the darkness. I am going to enjoy myself for once. And he's like, you're not gonna get it. I'm like, oh, here's the punchline, lady. And
Yep.
then he walks
He's
out
dead.
and he's walking with blood on his feet. And people are like, oh, well, he might not have killed her. Nah, he
No,
killed
she's
her.
dead.
He killed her. He walked in her blood barefoot, and it was like do 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 in a
Yeah,
pristine white area where he's never been in before. Like he's never been in something that was pristine, and he doesn't like it, so he made sure he jacked it up. He put chaos in that scene. He doesn't like being in that atmosphere, so he needs to cause chaos so he could be comfortable. He's never been in something that's been happy-go-lucky lifestyle. I could chill and hang out, Netflix and chill attitude. He's never had that. So when you throw him in an atmosphere with people wearing straitjackets in a clean, padded room, that annoys him. So he looked at the psychiatrist, and this is how we know she definitely wasn't Harley.
yeah.
So he's like,
Now, now, if you look back, because I believe that Hawk is right. If you look back at when he first goes to Arkham Asylum, he's sitting in that elevator with a guy flipping out, and you look at his face. He's sitting there going, "I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here." That
yeah,
face, it's a face of "I don't want to be here."
yep,
He doesn't want to be here. So that tells to me already that Hawk is right. He doesn't like being in clean, pristine environments. He wants everything to be so screwed up, and also he's he's not he's detaching himself from what the heck is going on around him.
hmm
He's detaching
and
himself.
the conversation he had with the clerk, the guy, the
Oh
black
yeah,
guy that gave him the files. The guy was, you know what? He was willy nilly with those files, bro. Like,
yeah. He
he
just
was
pulled out the
like,
file, started
"Oh,
talking to him
you
about
want
it. It's like really,
information? Like, dude, you didn't even prove to me who you are."
yeah,
Then he started reading the file, and he was like, "Uh oh." But he got to the
yeah,
part like, "I think I screwed up," and he looked at him because he started getting before he pulled the file out, he started feeling like uneasy about Arthur. Arthur
yeah,
was saying things, and he's super smart and manipulative. And he got this guy to do something that he's not supposed to do, period. And he realized, did I just see this shit? And then I stepped in it? Uh oh. Then he's like, let me read the file. And he's like, I really did step in the shit.
yep,
And look back at him, and he was like, yeah, so, anyways, she was your mom. Trying
yeah,
to put the
right,
file away, but it was too late. And Arthur was like, I did something bad. Like, oh,
uh-huh.
you're lucky you're behind that gate because he would have killed him. He would have actually killed him. But he was like, I can't get to you. But I'm taking a file and see you later. And
Yeah,
then
right,
he stayed in the building. It was just really crazy. Like, this is how you know this guy doesn't care anymore at a certain point. He's starting to not care about what you do or what you think. I'm getting
Well,
in the way
yeah, I
anyways.
mean, as after he found out the full truth that his
Man.
mother basically kidnapped him, basically,
Yeah, and
and
then malnutrition and made sure he never ate, but she ate with her boyfriends and stuff like that, who
boyfriend, and the
were probably
boyfriend beat the
junkies,
crap out of him and basically
like
rammed his head into the
which
into
made him mentally broken.
yeah,
So he
it
was
messed him
physically
up.
and mentally broken. He was physically broken by her, mentally broken by the guys that she kept around her. Then
Yep.
they took her into the asylum because they were realizing, well, she's a nutcase. And people were like having theories, oh, maybe he really is Thomas Wayne's son. Nope.
No.
Nope, not at all. She, whoever thinks that is mistaken. You are not a comic book fan. You're,
Yeah.
look, I'm glad you like the movie for what it is, but
No,
don't,
because no. When that note came forward and I was like, are they going with that route? No, they're not gonna do that. No way. And then when Alfred said, okay, and the dip crap that he was telling like your mother. She's crazy and blah 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 blah. I was like, okay, this must be a bull BS lie because first of all, Thomas would have made her go away.
yeah, he would have
Thomas would
sent
have
her
made her
to
go away.
another country. She would
Yeah,
not be in Gotham. She
yeah, she
would
would be.
be in a nice house somewhere in another country, and that kid would have been safe.
Yeah,
Because look, Thomas Wayne, whether he wants you or not, if you're illegitimate, he's going to make sure you're okay. He just doesn't want to raise you
yeah.
because he has a certain status that he has to keep and an image that he needs to show, and he can't have that image.
Yeah, you can't have
He's
an
not.
illegitimate
He's not
child
Arnold
walking around.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Man's a player. This dude
Right.
had a kid with the maid in his house, raised this kid, put this kid in Christmas photos, and nobody noticed.
Yeah, that's funny as hell, dude. Yeah, see, he got he pulled an Arthur Fleck on you, man. That's stupid. That's
That's so
stupid.
funny, bro.
So
Oh my god.
okay, so
And the kid looks like him too.
yeah, right. Kid looked
He
dead on
turned
like
10.
him.
He looked like Arnold.
He looked like Arnold back. He looked like Arnold back in the
Excuse me.
'80s. He looked like Arnold back when he first came here.
He's like, I'm Arnold with the tan. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
sheesh.
man. And I speak Spanish.
Yeah, right.
Man, but he took care of that kid though. Like
No,
even
yeah,
after everything, and he was there for his graduations, for
yeah.
his
I
college
saw some of the pictures
graduations.
and everything.
He's teaching them the bodybuilding stuff. That's
So
Thomas would have done that though. He would have made sure Arthur was taken care of. He would have never became the Joker. He would have had an education. The crazy mom would have been put somewhere, and some servants or whatever
a
at the
nanny or
other
something would have been
house
taking care of him.
would have took care of him and raised him with a proper education.
Yep,
He would have had an Alfred of his own.
yep. So
So that right there tells you it's definitely not his kid.
kid,
They
yeah,
don't care how ruthless this guy is in the image of the movie. He would have never allowed someone of his blood possibility because he doesn't know if anything's going to happen to Bruce. That's a backup. He didn't even have Bruce at that time. So that would have been like, hey, look, I'm not ready for you. So I'm going to do this, blah, 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 boarding school, whatever. Years later, he has Bruce. I don't really need to worry about my first, but in case of anything, when I die, I'm gonna let Bruce know he has a brother.
right.
You know, let him know that he had some family left over,
Yeah,
because the Waynes are supposed to be the last of the Waynes.
yeah. Tom Bruce is the last, other than when they discover about Damien. But yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce is supposed to be the last of his lineage. All right. So let's get to okay, so basically, what was it? Yeah, when he comes to terms with what happened to his with his mother, he goes to her, and that's when he says the line that basically says throughout the whole thing. He says that, my whole life I thought my life was a tragedy, but it's a comedy, and he basically kills her. He basically kills her. He
Oh
goes, "Nope,
man,
you're not my
yeah. After
blood, so it
learning
doesn't
everything,
matter." So
yeah.
and I think that
He's
that's
like,
where that's where that's where he pretty much just said, like you said, he just gave up. He said whatever.
he broke.
And
No, he didn't give up. He just broke the illusion. He finally broke out of the evil spell that she put across him.
yeah,
Like he
pretty
was
much.
finally able to break through the veil.
And
But he became something else. He could have been something better, But instead, he did become something better. He
But
became a better psychopath.
in a way,
So,
yes. And that's when the first thing he did was he went back to the apartment.
no, he went into the girl's apartment.
That's what I said. He went back to his apartment complex, and he went to the girl's apartment, and that's when he was sitting there, and she's like, and when she arrived, he says, "Hey, whoa, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's wait a minute, something's wrong here."
And that's
And
when you
that's
see the
when
other
everything
male
started
break.
to come together, and you find out that he disassociated. And if you on and for any of the audience member, disassociation, that scene in a better way for me to explain it is if you've ever seen an episode from a show called Criminal Minds, that's exactly what the hell they did.
Yeah.
They showed that he believed he was in a relationship with that woman, and I said right off the bat, and to anybody who ever asked me, I said, there's only two things: either everything is in his head, his everything about his mother was in his head, or
Yeah.
everything about that girl was in his head. There has to be because,
But the sad part was it was the girl, and it's
mm-hmm,
the girl of his dreams, but he
yep,
never actually talked to her, and that's kind of sad
yep,
because But then you know what that tells me too, though.
mm,
That's the girl of his dreams, right? You know he didn't kill her because he walked out, everything was fine. Like he just like whatever. He just wanted to show her that. I guess he was trying to show her that I care about you, but he's just disconnect.
in a
There's a
kind of a
disconnect,
weird
yeah.
way. So
But the
I don't,
uncomfortableness that she had, he left.
huh?
He was like, oh, after that he left. He was like, you know what? If I can't have you, like no normal life, if I can't have a relationship, then I'm just gonna go full out what I'm feeling. And then
Yeah.
that's when he started dyeing his hair and dancing in the bathroom with the
Well, no.
green.
That's when he basically
Like
committed the that's when he what is it? No, he committed the suicide pact. That was his suicide pact because he was going to commit suicide.
yeah, well,
The-
no, that's the thing, right? After he let her live, he's like, look, I can't have happiness with you because I obviously don't know how to communicate properly. I'm
and
going
also
and
he because of what he did, he basically killed his mother and he killed those three people. So he's
the
already
three
like,
guys
nah.
didn't bother him. It was the mom thing that he was like, okay, well, I have
But
nothing left if I can't have this girl.
you also got to realize throughout the whole movie, he he was feeling a little guilty killing those guys because he's not a murderer. He's not a murderer. He was very distraught about killing those guys. He just felt like it just pushed him too far. But when his
Yeah,
mother got
but
sick because she got a stroke,
no,
it
but she
made
said something too that bothered him about that. Oh, those
yeah,
poor guys. And he looked at her like, yo, for real? Like, if I tell you what they did to me, would you care? And
yeah,
that's when he started getting like uncomfortable and shaking. Like, I don't want to tell her, but then if I do, she's going to turn my ass in. And then that was when he was like logical about it and didn't do it. But you see it bothered what she said, like, oh, those poor boys. Thomas Wayne is such a nice man. And he's looking at her like, really? Really? I'm gonna
right.
do my best not to do something right now. Like smoke this cigarette and shake up like a crackhead because I'm annoyed. He
So
was so annoyed.
yeah,
But
he
I mean, it's
was.
just after he couldn't have the potential happiness from the girl. That's when yes, he decided to do the suicidal thing. But that the scene after that when he started dyeing his hair green, he was like, yeah, fuck it, yeah. Like, he doesn't care. Like he looked like Red when he danced around before. Oh, I have a heart attack. Oh, like that he was doing that dance.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, this is so funny. He did the Sanford and Son dance in the bathroom. All you heard was bam, 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 dye my hair green, and
Right.
he's just going crazy with the dance and everything.
And
And
then on top of that, Murray, the guy that he's been basically
oh, he belittled him on TV,
he
and
belittled him on TV, and I think
I told Christine
that's what
about
set
that
him off.
too.
That's what set him off. However, when he
The
got
first
injured,
time was whatever. It
yeah,
got him on TV. So he was like, all right, that's when he decided, I'm going to kill myself on national TV.
yep,
So that's when he was like, okay, I got this. And he did everything that he did.
hmm
And being belittled like that is one thing. And he's like, fine, I'm going to prove to you guys that the joke's on you type of thing. This is what you made me do. So I'm like,
hmm
he's not going to kill himself.
No,
Murray's gonna
because
screw up
I think
again. He's gonna screw up again. He's
no, no,
gonna
no.
freaking do
I
something.
think that in the movie he was gonna do it, but then when I think it was when he revealed he was the one who murdered those three men. When Murray was sitting there looking at him like he belittled him further and further, that's when he
Well,
went, you
that's
know
the
what? I have to
thing.
get rid of
I
you
knew
first.
Murray was gonna screw up again because, all right, he's like, hey, can you introduce me as a Joker? And he came out dancing all cool, like
Yeah.
all comfortable. He felt free again.
Yeah.
And when he belittled him again, I'm like,
Yep.
oh, bro. And you did it when
Yep.
he was like, you did it before he came out, and that's when he started dancing, and he knew right then and there the punchline that he had in his head was not going to play out the way people
He
who don't
wanted
know
it.
the Joker, who never known the Joker through comics, that right there, when he started doing that dance, he's like, I'm gonna shoot this dude in the face. Like that was the you just screwed up dance. And like that's your life. And he was like, hey, so comes to like, hey, guess what, Murray? Joke's on you, buddy.
Right.
Tell me a joke. That's life. Here's some pepper in the face. Here's another one in the chest.
I know, right?
But that doctor would have never got away though.
No.
That he would have shot her afterwards, and he would have shot the dude because they thought it was funny to belittle somebody like it was a normal day and it's okay because I'm rich and you're not attitude. And that, okay, you know who else does that a lot and doesn't deserve to be in the limelight, but somehow people are retarded? Nicki Minaj made fun of people who were physically handicapped, and her cronies of retards thought it was funny. I'm like, how is this cunt, because she's a cunt, famous? Like, you're belittling somebody who has a physical handicap, who has no choice, who suffered from this. How are you going to do that? How dare you? Like, you
Right?
don't deserve to be human. Like, you deserve to be in the ground being eaten by worms and being shitted out. So, like, why? Why would you do that? Like,
I don't
that's
know.
disgusting.
Yeah.
And seeing that talk show host do that to him, I'm like, man. And I told her, I was like, man, he's gonna shoot this dude in the face.
Yeah, she gonna shoot him. She gonna kill him. I had a feeling too. The moment he belittled him, and you saw his face when he was about to be announced, I was like, and then the guy, and then when he put the cigarette in his mouth, and he got into his pose, he saw, he saw the guy behind the screen look at him. He's like, what the fuck?
Like,
He said, what the hell is this, dude?
no,
He was like,
oh,
what the? Who are you, dude? Are you Liberace? It's like, oh no, it's like, you crazy. So I
I was
mean,
like, I think we screwed up. I
yeah,
think we're dead.
Murray, you know what you're doing here, bro. So yeah,
He's like,
so
yeah, that guy left. That camera was empty by the time he got shot in
oh
the
yeah,
face.
dude,
He's like, no,
shoot,
I
yeah, he
know
was
better,
gone,
bro.
man.
I see these things all the time. I'm behind the camera. See ya.
Yeah. So yeah, he kills Murray, and he gets arrested by the police,
Well,
and
he
he's in
lets
the
himself
car.
get arrested though. He could have got away.
Yeah, he could have
He
got away, but I
he
don't think he cared.
allowed
I
himself.
don't think he
See,
cared.
people don't understand. The Joker allows himself to be caught by cops.
Hmm.
He doesn't allow himself to be caught by Batman. Batman just whips his ass. Like, there's a big difference. He is definitely afraid of Batman. That's not going to happen yet. So what's going to happen is he's going to be in the asylum, and he's going to hear what you think. It's like going to be 8 years later, right? So he's going to hear this
No,
guy going around
10.
as a
But no, 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 not 10. Depends on how old Bruce is. Let's say they put him at 10. I would say
and
probably about 12 years.
so this right here, right? He's going to show up as Batman, cleaning up the city before supervillains became a thing in Gotham. And Arthur's going to be looking at that and be like, oh, I got somebody to play with. Somebody who's potentially as crazy as me. So he's going to break out of the asylum. Right now, he's enjoying causing, chaos and darkness inside that asylum because that asylum morphed into something dark because of him. It went from clean to like there's nothing we can do. He morphed Gotham Asylum into this cesspool of darkness. And then all of a sudden, like the woodwork of evil started showing up. And it was also because of Bruce, though, like becoming Batman. Really evil people started showing up out of the woodwork. Like they, for some reason, they were attracted to trying to best Batman, but they were also attracted to the chaos that Joker brought to Gotham. Like, hey man, this guy's going around wreaking havoc in Gotham, and the Bat is having a hard time with them. Hey, let's enjoy it ourselves too. Like, there's potential in this town. Let's take it over. So they both brought these people into Gotham, and Batman and the Joker kept them contained mostly in Gotham. Like these dudes never really left. They got a lot of crazy people in Gotham because of these two, one borderline nut job and one actual full on craziness. Like, who wants to deal with a psychopath? Not even the psychopaths want to deal with this particular psychopath, and that's the Joker.
Um, I saw something at the very end to so we can kind of wrap this up. I saw something at the end that I felt that was quite possibly one of the best ways of showing death and rebirth. And I loved how the after the accident, the car runs right into the police car after while the police were trying to take Arthur to jail, and
Well,
the
yeah, they
cars,
were trying to save him, make
yeah.
him escape. Like the
So
people were wanting him as their leader.
so they pulled him out, and for all intents and purposes, he could be dead. He could be
But
dead.
they gently put him down. Like you saw
Yeah.
that? Like they wanted, like, look, the poor people had nobody because Thomas Wayne belittled them and put them into the gutter, basically. The way they did this, like, hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy fought for the little people, basically, is what they saw. Like, hey, he took out three of the elite. And then he kept doing it. Like he kept, man, he was smart. When he got away on the subway and got those cops beat up, man, that's a brainiac right there. That guy is smart. Like he knew. He was like, I'm gonna aggravate you to make you fight this guy, and bam, I'm out. And he did it. And that cop, you saw fear of death in his eye, and he pulled the gun out because he knew if I let this guy go, we're gonna have problems. Then he accidentally shot somebody, and
Yep.
that Joker looked at him like, "Joke's on you, buddy. They love me. They hate you, and you're the good guy." And he took off. And I'm like, "Whoa, that's what the people wanted. They wanted somebody that cared about those who were poor." However, there's naive because the Joker don't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't want anything anymore. He doesn't. He wanted something at one point, and now he's like, "I don't care. I just want this. I want you to burn the town down. I want you guys to wreak havoc and enjoy it. But you personally, I don't care about." And he tells them, but they still help him. So they gently protected him and put him in the car, and they did the dance and painted his face with the blood. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like,
Well,
man, this guy's becoming the Joker.
yeah. Well, what I saw was you had the Waynes
Well, yeah, the theater
coming out.
scene that
Yeah.
inadvertently the Joker
Well, no,
killed.
no, no, hold on. They come out of the movie theater. They're trying to escape the chaos, and they head down into Crime Alley. I'm sorry, Park Row.
Yeah, before
And
it became crime after.
that clown that looked at him. Now you could tell right off the bat that's not one of the people. And on one video, which I want to discuss a little bit, but we're getting a little too deep into this. But Left Foot
Yeah, that
Media,
guy was actually a natural robber anyways. He
yeah,
just wanted to
he
watch
was a
the
criminal.
chaos.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was a
he
straight
wanted
criminal.
to
So
watch
that's
it.
so he if you look at him, he came with a purpose. He was gonna rob him. He was gonna
Yeah,
rob.
he saw opportunity first of all when he saw them
Yeah,
walk out. He knew who,
who he knew
so
who they
he
were.
knew they had money.
Yeah.
So he
So
saw opportunity. This guy is like legit. The people who are causing havoc are people who have never done it.
yeah,
This dude just hid amongst the crowd and in front of everybody.
yeah,
Hey, look, I'm just as bad as the Joker, but right now he's in the limelight and he enjoys it. But I like to hide in the dark and do nefarious things.
yeah,
And he did it, and
yep,
he made Batman.
yeah. So if you look at what happened, Arthur is getting put down on the thing. We think that he's dead. We think that he's dead. And what the hell was it? Oh yeah, then Bruce's parents get murdered.
And all of a
And
sudden he wakes
right
up.
there, the moment you see that boy looking down at his two parents getting killed, that's the birth of Batman. While on the other side of the spectrum, you have Arthur waking up and he's
As
looking
the
around
Joker.
and he takes the blood out of his mouth and creates the grin, which creates the Joker. And
The
I was like,
Joker. Yeah.
whoa, we're seeing a parallel here. We're seeing the death and rebirth of Bruce Wayne, the death of Bruce Wayne and the birth of Batman. And now we got on the other side of the spectrum the death of Arthur Fleck
Arthur. And
and
becomes the
and the
Joker.
creation and the birth of the Joker. And I was like, that
So,
I wonder if people saw that parallel. It was a great parallel, and it
well,
was
I
a
saw
great
it.
and it was a
I
great.
just go ahead, dude. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and I thought it was a great parallel, and it was a great interpretation of death and rebirth.
Yeah.
Because
So
go ahead.
that hits back to what Jerry said again. Like when I asked him, I was like, "Big brother, little brother, look what happened." At the same time, Big brother becomes Joker, and the little brother becomes Batman. They both were born as villain and hero. It was at the same time,
Uh
and
huh.
that tells you they have a true spiritual connection. Now, if people read the comics, the Joker is actually an anomaly. He's not supposed to exist, hence
Nope.
the Morpheus chair. But that's a different conversation.
Yep.
That's a way different conversation. But
Yeah,
the
I don't want
Joker
to
is
get in
supposed
that
to be an
conversation.
anomaly in all the
I'm gonna
comics.
wait. I'm gonna wait until that comes completely full out, and then I'm gonna I'm looking at probably looking for that comic and start reading it because I want to hear what they're
Yeah,
gonna do
dude.
with that three
I
Jokers comp.
want to know about
That,
that too. It's
yeah,
funny.
I want to know what the
But
hell
the
about
other
that.
thing I want to hint at was the guy who caused a lot of problems for him, who got him fired at work and everything like that. If that also made him spiral into the situation, though, he made this guy feel secure falsely. That guy was a frenemy. Now, the midget was his friend. He cared
Yeah,
about
he
him, but he
said
was
he says you
afraid
like
of
he
the big
said
guy.
yeah, he like he said he told the midget he told that small person, listen, you've been very nice to me and I'll let you go. He's like okay, Arthur, and
He
he's so
kissed him on the
offended.
forehead, and you almost feel like,
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
like,
and
wasn't
he
it?
opened the
It
door
wasn't.
and he waved him out. He was like, he was gone,
Go on
dude.
your way, buddy.
He didn't even look back, dude. He said, "Oh God, oh
But here's the
God."
thing, though. You
Yeah.
know that's an Easter egg, though, because check this out.
Mm.
He killed the big dude, which was amazing. I love that scene.
Oh yeah.
And the midget was like, oh, like I got nowhere to go. I'm hiding on the table. This sucks. Like
Yep.
oh, like, and then he takes off. And I don't think the guy noticed. I wonder if he locked the chain as a spontaneous thing, like it was never meant to be in the movie, but he just did it just to see. And the guy goes for the chain. And he's like, oh, I can't. Oh, can you get the chain?
Yeah, no, that was so great, dude. He's all, oh, okay. And he got up. He's all,
He's
oh.
like, oh, I forgot. Sorry. It's a habit. I just didn't want the big guy getting out.
Yeah, he didn't want him to knock him out of the way and run,
He's
dude.
like, you? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I forgot your look.
That was so great, dude.
So he kissed him, but Easter egg, remember, he had a midget on his crew as a Joker who did crazy things and threw bombs at people. Easter egg, that dude and he cared about that midget a lot in the comics.
Yeah, he did.
That's the midget.
Nice.
That's the one he cared about. That's the one that got killed later, and he was upset about it
Yeah, oh
because
yeah.
that was his connection before he became the Joker. But we didn't know that until later in the comics after he died, and he was murdered and all that stuff. But it wasn't
Right.
Batman's fault. It was other situations. He never blamed Batman for that. He was just upset that somebody that he cared about died. I was like, oh, that's the dude that used to throw bombs at people as a little gesture.
Yep.
The little gesture that danced around like a clown and threw bombs at people and like, and then takes off. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh, that's the guy. So yes and no. I hope that's who he is because it was the only midget in the movie who
Yeah,
always looked at him with
right.
he always looked at him with like a concern, like I hope you're okay.
Yep.
I care about you, but I'm afraid to voice it out that I want to be your friend. Do you want me to be your friend? Like he was concerned
Yeah.
about that. So that's the last thing I want to add on though. But yeah, I hope he's that little dude that threw bombs at people a lot.
Well, I mean,
Because
for myself, I just like the parallels they did because we saw Arthur's descent, that he was just getting sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then everything he thought of his life was it was completely horse shit. That's pretty much what it was. It
yeah,
was complete horse shit to him. And the fact that his mother is not his mother, I mean, the woman that basically took care, I mean, well, didn't take care of him. The woman that he
but
thought was his mom,
it shows a
basically
lot,
kidnapped
man.
him
Like,
and treated him like basically a pawn to get in the hands of a rich man. And when that didn't
yep.
happen, she basically pawned him off and chained him up and beat the living snot and let her boyfriends beat the snot out of
Yeah,
her. So
but it also shows that he's the possible anomaly,
yeah,
that maybe he's not supposed to exist, because you never find out if he had parents,
yeah.
like, in
All they said was she
anybody.
found him. All she said was just she
Yeah,
found him.
yeah, he could have just farted out from dust. Like, it just, the Joker is not supposed to exist. And all, it's
Yeah,
weird in all aspects. With the even Darkseid finds him strange and unable to figure out what he is. Now, apparently, he's supposed to be human, but when you got super beings looking at him kind of crazy, and a chair of all knowing can't figure out what he is, that tells you a lot. That
oh yeah,
it explains a lot, and that's another story later on. But
yeah.
yeah, it kind of, this movie shows that he could possibly be the anomaly.
Well, the whole thing is that it still keeps with the whole thing of his backstory is I mean his name is unknown. He doesn't know his
Yeah,
name.
because that name was given to him. Arthur
Yeah,
Fleck was given to him, and that's the only name that he found out. Bruce found out later, and then he was like, "That's not really his name." And then he had his blood tested. Nothing. I'm like, oh, couldn't figure out what his blood type was either. I'm like,
yeah,
oh man, that tells you a lot. Like, if Bruce can't figure out his blood type by testing it, that's crazy.
yeah,
I was like, is this guy even real? He's
yeah.
Puck.
That's the whole point of
He's
it.
Puck.
That,
He's Loki. Like, this guy is not supposed
right?
to be here.
You're not supposed to exist. but
Like, oh,
I yeah, I really like this movie. I know you have your reservations on some of the character portrayals.
I would, well, yeah, that's one thing. But the only thing, remember I told you before, I was like, man, I love Joaquin. I like the idea of him being Joker. What did I say before? I'm worried about the story. I'm worried
Hmm.
about who wrote it, because that could ruin everything. No matter how great he is of an actor, man, you write a horrible story, and that's that. Going back to Jared Leto, he's an amazing actor. Crappy story turns
Hmm.
Joker even crappier. That should have never happened. That should
Nope.
have never happened, and it did. And I was like, wow, why'd you let this guy run around doing that? Like, you should have never let him. But writing can change everything. And after Leto, it's like pouring acid on your tongue, and you wish you had taste buds again. And
Yeah.
then Joaquin shows up, and you're like, I hope the story's good. And you watch it, and you're like, ah, cotton candy tastes sweet again. It's like, welcome to the carnival, kiddies. This is
Right.
your favorite clown.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
oh
mean, yeah,
man.
I think that um, they did a really good job on this movie, and I think that that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix and all of them deserve an applause for this because they actually took a character that everybody does not want a backstory for, but they made a backstory that's relevant, but it's
Uh-huh.
still iron and mystery. It's still iron and mystery because, like you
Not
said,
just that, but here's the thing though. Like, all right, there's the supporting cast.
hmm
I don't ever see the supporting cast. You know what the supporting cast is to me? His ups and downs through the emotional roller coaster of life.
hmm
That was the supporting cast. His emotion that led you to what you wanted to see him be. You watch this movie, don't watch it thinking it's a comedy, because if you watch it thinking it's a comedy, you don't deserve to have eyeballs.
or a
You
comic book
don't.
movie at all. It's not a comic book
Yeah,
movie.
like it
It is a
you know
true
what?
it is a true character
It
study
it is,
piece.
because you, that's why I'm saying the supporting cast was his emotions, like the way he transitioned from one part of himself to another, the comfortability that he had at one point, and it disappeared really quick. The drop of the music showing that his tone is
hmm
changed. like the twist of the
Yeah.
camera. Like he didn't twist, the camera twisted. Like it gave this skew that made you feel like, ooh, like
Yep.
you gotta worry about this guy, but his emotions, the great camera work, the director was awesome. The
Hmm.
guy who or person who wrote it, I don't know if it was a guy or whatever, but whoever wrote it obviously cared about Joker. Just didn't care about the good guys, obviously, because Thomas Wayne and Alfred look like bad guys. So it's like, and
Right.
like you got this going on, and it's just those three people, Joaquin, Todd, and whoever wrote it, because I didn't pay attention to that. All I cared about was the thank you director and thank you Joaquin, because they're the ones that brought it to life. And I know writing's hard, I do it, but sometimes the writer gets overshadowed by the actor, but they turn your story into life. So take it as it is, Those three people made this
Scott Silver
awesome
and Martin
story.
Scorsese. Scott
Really?
Silver.
That's why I had that crazy gangster feel sometimes. Martin Scorsese helped with this.
Yeah, he helped with the writing.
Okay, that's cool. But he is a little bit of a racist, though. All
Yeah.
right, so I can see where the racist stuff started showing up. All right, now I get it. Okay, it was like, yeah, this
Yeah.
movie's kind of racist. Oh, Scorsese. Yeah. All right, Scorsese is a racist. Okay, I get it now. I was wondering about that. I didn't even pay attention to that. Yeah, I just wanted to see Joaquin do his thing. That's when I don't pay attention to credits is because I really enjoy the guy who plays the character. So, uh, yeah, dang, I didn't know that. That's funny. So the writers did a great job, minus the Scorsese because he is a racist, and everybody who thinks otherwise is fooling themselves. Just like Spike Lee's a racist. He's a
Hmm.
complete racist, but they write these intense movies sometimes, and you're like, well, it's pretty good, but
Hmm.
you leave a bad taste in my mouth. It's like
Right.
I really don't want to admit that your movie.
Okay,
Like,
so to move a little bit forward. So okay, so there's one part in here, not in the movie, but now WB, because of the success with Joker, there's a lot of media news saying that they want to do more movies like this, villain centric movies,
yeah,
and
man. Like,
I'm like,
I
to
don't want a
me,
sequel. I want him to be the Joker now.
no, 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 no. You understand what I mean? No, no, no. One, they want to do other villain centric films, like they want to do. Now they're one's coming down the pike. People are talking about they want to do a Lex Luthor version of him as president of the United
Oh no,
States.
I'm good
I'm
with
like,
that.
no,
I am good with that. No, we are
no, don't
okay.
touch it.
I don't want to
No,
watch that
I don't
because
want to watch that
that's
either.
you know what that is. That's the world's finest.
Yeah, right.
That's
So
not Lex Luthor. That's world's finest.
okay,
That's
so
when Batman and
I
Superman
I
do their thing.
I came up with one, and we're gonna bounce this off for the next 10 minutes. And I know one, and I think even you will love it. It's one of your favorite villains from
Uh
DC,
huh. Uh huh.
and it think of it as a documentary from the basically it is a character study. It's a documentary of the life of Vandal Savage.
Uh, I don't know about documentary though, because people are gonna ruin that with the weird shaky camera stuff.
No, 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 no. It's him. Think of it like this. Okay, okay. In Marvel, one of the
Yeah, but
greatest stories, one of the greatest
they're
stories they
gonna
ever
get
did.
somebody to do the Kardashian storyline garbage. Like they're gonna get somebody from reality TV who understands reality TV
No, 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 no,
documentaries.
no, no, no. You
Like,
understand? No, 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 not like that. No, no,
yeah, people
you
do
no,
that
no,
in
no,
some
no.
time.
It's gonna be different.
Well, we
You
can't
okay?
control
You
that.
remember? Okay, you okay? If you remember, if anybody in the audience can remember one of the greatest stories ever written in Marvel, it was done. It was called the Books of Doom, and all it was is it was a reporter that went down to I forgot his home country, and he allowed her
Oh,
there.
what was that reporter's name?
Yeah, and all he was doing was telling her his life story and why he's doing what he's doing. And at the very end, he kills her because he doesn't want that story out.
Yeah,
Because it's basically him unveiling his feelings, unveiling his weaknesses, and he doesn't want that out at all. He wants them all to
he's
think
the
that he's still
polar
that.
opposite of the other reporter that was super.
Exactly. He wants everyone to think that he's still that grade A prick when he has so many weaknesses and he's so upset over himself. He's not truly that he wasn't truly angry at Reed. He was more angry at himself
Yeah, because
that he
he
failed.
shows himself as Anderson Cooper, but he's
Yeah. So that's what I want them to do. That's the movie I want to see from Vandal Savage's point of view. All of his greatest accomplishments, but he was always stopped from doing the greater good, and he can never
and
understand
you
why.
know what's funny about that? Yes, I love Vandal Savage. That guy, like Joker's my favorite. He's one of my next. Like when it comes to like solo villains, these dudes
Mm-hmm.
are amazing. Darkseid is a solo villain, but he's not at the same time. So it's kind of weird. Like he manipulates people and things. Joker and Vandal do it, but they love getting dirty. They enjoy it. Like they don't care about the group. They're like, man, I'll take care of myself. I don't care. Bang bang. Like they don't care. Like they'll get in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Darkseid doesn't want to be in the middle of it. He does. He's just like, look, man, take care of it, man. I got other things I got to do. Like he's a dictator. That's exact. That's all he is. Vandal was a dictator too, but man, he would rip your heart out of your chest with his bare hands and smile. Like, told you,
Mm-hmm.
don't mess with me, bro. So yeah, you do that, but at the same time, it's like Vandal was never stopped by his so-called nemesis, Immortal Man. Like this guy was the most useless hero. Like this dude,
Well, no, 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 no,
one
no.
is not as smart as him. Like
Who says it's Immortal Man? You can even state in the movie that he
no,
thought
but
that.
Immortal. I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
Immortal Man, he was like, yeah, my arch nemesis is supposed to be this guy, but he was never smart enough to stop me. The only people who stopped me, one was a super powered guy and a super brainy dude who hides in the shadows. And you know who that is. And
Mm-hmm.
it sucked. And these dudes always stopped me. But my so called freaking nemesis, who is immortal, just like myself, was unable to stop me from taking over countries. You know, I was Alexander the Great. Did you know
Mm-hmm.
I guided Hitler into his thing? Where was my arch nemesis? Man, that dude was hiding because he didn't know what to do.
Nope.
So it tells you a lot that whoever wrote Moral Man, man,
They
that's
didn't know what
like
to do with
lettuce in a hamburger. Like, get that shit out of my freaking burger, man. Like, that dude is a useless hero. Get rid of him. He's terrible. You got Superman and Batman always like, even Green Lantern stopped this dude. Wait, I'm sorry, even the Flash too. So
Mm-hmm.
you got these dudes stopping him. But the guy who had the immortality at the same time as him was unable to figure out how to beat him. Like he never got smarter. He was Dudley Do Right forever, stupid and big for nothing. Just super dumb. Like, why are you even existing, bro?
I know, I know. But I mean,
It's like,
you can have him insult Immortal Man and like, I thought that this guy was gonna be the one that did it, but no,
to stop me
you
because
could
he's
say that
immortal like myself.
you could
But
say
it turns out he's stupid.
you could say that he was Alexander the Great when he was gonna he says, well, Alexander the Great got defeated by walking into the Alps. He's like, do you really think so? Well, that's what history said. History's written by the winners. And he just looks at him like, what the hell? He's like, so I was Alexander the Great. He know I was there. I mean, I was there.
I had to hide my
He made up the
identity
story.
once in a while.
Yeah,
Like
he made
he
up the
and he
story.
explains it. I
Yeah, he
have to
explains it like he
hide
made up
once
the
in a
story.
while.
He says that
Until
he,
he got to a certain time and he was like, I'm immortal. I did all this stuff. I don't care anymore. Let's do this.
yeah,
Like
you
what
can
at
write
one
that.
point he was Genghis Khan at
Yeah,
one
he was
point.
Genghis Khan. You could say that during World War
Well
One.
Chinggis, I'm sorry, Chinggis.
Yeah, well, you could say that during World War One, he was gonna take over. He was gonna use the German Empire to take over the world,
Which he
but they got
manipulated Hitler into doing.
no,
He
no. That's
didn't
World War Two. I'm saying World War One.
oh yeah. That's the trench
Yeah,
war, trench war.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you could say that he was trying to manipulate the German Empire to take over the world, but they
And
were
that
stopped
didn't
by,
work.
and you could say that it was the introduction of these so-called superheroes. So
Wonder
the
Woman.
Justice Society, something like that. You can introduce a lot of stuff into his movie
And it made
and
him
build
think
off of it.
back. And then he got Hitler as a puppet,
Yeah, and then he was
tried
stopped
again,
again
and
by
then
the
he was like,
Justice Society,
okay.
and you can introduce the fact that he was stopped by some weird people who came from the future. You know where the hell they came from? They had superpowers and stuff like that. He had a guy. There was a guy with an S on his chest. He was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" He couldn't stop him. He could not stop these
Uh,
people, and he just got it
it's like the guy
infuriates him.
punch a
It,
hole in the tank. Oh,
yeah. So
I can't even do
you can
that.
yeah you can write in there that Vandal did so much stuff to try to take over the world, but either he got stopped because he got bored, or he got stopped by someone more powerful, or he just went, eh, just went, eh,
And walked away. He
and just
did that a
walked away
lot too,
from it
though.
because it was like
He
there
would
was no
walk out
challenge
and figure
anymore.
something out. Yeah, he would figure something
And
else
then
out.
yeah, he's just like, this is not worth it anymore. There's no challenge in this. So you can write all the way up, and the last question that the person asks is, okay, so you did all these great things and you were stopped. So why do you want this story out? And he goes, and he looks at him. He goes, who says I want this story out? And she goes, and the person goes, whoa, 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 what do you mean? Why'd you call me here? He goes, perhaps I just wanted after all the millennia I've been alive, I just wanted to tell my side of the story. And since I have, I know what I have to do. And he kills the person. He just
Yeah.
and kills the person. And you're like, what the hell? What the and that's all it was. It was him talking about what happened and he's brilliant. He's an intelligent person. He just needed to tell it to somebody so he could figure out, now I know what I have to do.
He had to flesh out the mistakes, the failures.
Exactly.
But
That's the
here's
whole
the thing,
crux of the
though.
movie.
The
And that's how you do
ultimate
it.
failure for Vandal is that he destroyed the world. And
Yeah.
then Superman got pulled into the future of what Vandal made. And that Vandal uh, essentially is a good person, but like, he literally is the last man on Earth. And he thought Superman would be there already, but he's like, how did when Superman disappeared in time? That's when he got away with everything. So they told you, yes, Batman did hinder him, but not enough to stop him. But Superman was able to completely stop him all the time. So when Superman disappeared from a timeline, he was able to destroy the world. And he
Yeah.
didn't want to destroy the world, but it happened. And then he explains that to the Superman. He was like, man, when you left, bro, I wreaked havoc. As you can see, I messed up. And I would like to atone for that. So I want to send you back so you can stop me, so you can keep me in line.
He and I love that cartoon when he even said, he goes, you know what? After fighting all these people, the hardest one to kill was Batman. I was like, what, really?
Yeah, but it was true. He was
Yeah.
like, that guy sucked. Like, that guy was the worst. This dude, he was the next you, but he was human. If he wasn't human, I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
The way he told him that, it was like, oh wow. See, the cartoon shows one thing, and then there's a comic
Oh yeah.
speculating on that too. And the comic was even worse because they explained more about what Bruce did. He's like,
Hmm.
and in the end, he died of old age. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't beat him. Like, I couldn't kill him. I couldn't do none of that. He died of old age. He was squishy because he was human. He was
Hmm.
flawed. You are not. So you need to stop me. It's you. And it's not because you're smart. And he said that to him. It's not because you're smart. You're just immortal. Like, I don't know you if you can die. Like, do you even age? Like, I'm confused. Like, you're super strong, you're immortal, but you're nowhere near capable of stopping me without that. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, he belittles Superman, which annoyed him though. You notice it annoys him in that comic. Like, he was like, really, really? Should I just smash your face in? But it'd be useless. Like, dang, because he knows he's immortal.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I hate you. Like, you can talk all the crap you want to me, and there's nothing I can do about it. And you tell me Bruce is my better? Yeah, dude, all day. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. If he was a super being like you'd be dust. He would
Yeah.
get rid of you. You were like, nah, you're worthless, bro. Like, you can't even fight when you lose your powers. You're trash. And, but Bruce said that though. He's like, what you gonna do when you lose, fool? Everybody said it. Even Green Lantern, who was a military man, he's like, yo, for real though. What are you gonna do when you lose your powers? Even the Flash knows how to fight without his powers. What's up?
Right.
And in all honesty, the Flash is the OP of the group though.
Oh yeah. He's
He is the OP. Like, everybody says, oh, Superman's overpowered. Nah, the
nah. It's
Flash is.
Flash.
If you could
No.
travel through time, you OP. You
Well, not
more
even
than
that. I
OP.
mean, he could defy the laws of physics. So I mean, if he wanted to, he could
Well,
just
yeah,
phase right through
he
Superman,
has
rip
a
out his heart,
thunder punch
and
from
run.
hell. It's an atomic punch.
Yeah.
It's like exploding suns.
Yeah.
He could kill Superman. He could kill Superman with the punch, and he
Yeah.
doesn't do it.
Yeah. He can one punch
Superman
man him.
is so arrogant that he thinks, "Oh, the Flash can never hurt me." What? Wally can obliterate you. Matter of fact, he's the most willing to do it. He just doesn't do it because you were friends with his freaking brother. Otherwise, he would have obliterated you.
Right. Okay,
Oh man,
so
OP.
okay, let's wrap this up. Okay, so um, yeah, I love the movie. I think the movie was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
watch it. It's definitely Academy worthy. Like
yeah, it
seriously, best
is. And
actor, director.
I was wrong. The movie did not win the TIFF award. It won the Golden Lion. So
Yeah,
this thing
yeah.
went to
Golden Lion
Venice.
in Venice. Yeah, that's the highest award in Venice is Golden
Yeah.
Lion.
Are you kidding me? So yeah, this is Oscar level, and I think
Which
that this movie,
American movies don't get, by the way, folks.
yeah, now I mean, there's only I think like five
The
American movies that ever won a Golden Lion. So
wasn't
that's
Godfather one of them?
yeah.
Godfather 2. Godfather 2 was one
I
of
think
them.
Godfather 2, and then also I think Requiem for a Dream won one.
Yeah, they like heroin in Europe. So yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
but I think that the movie has to be very there has to be a well of depth with character and story. It doesn't have to be popcorn, and I think
The thing
that's the
with
reason why.
Italy, they want a movie that hits their emotions.
Yeah,
Popcorn flicks like Marvel movies,
yeah,
popcorn flicks are a no go for Italy.
yeah,
So if it doesn't uh, well up emotions, it doesn't deserve an award.
yeah.
This, if you've never seen it and you happen to listen to us, well, sorry, but yeah, you should have watched it first, fool.
Yeah, I mean,
So
again, I mean, myself and Hawk here, we uh, we have our opinions about Marvel, but it's the absolute truth. That is the reason why the Academy for years never really looked at popcorn films. They look at films with more depth and more substance to it than just the average popcorn film. It's not to disrespect popcorn films. It's more in the fact of they look for something more artiste and it has more of a not a commercial feel. It's more of a this is what a director's feel of a movie is, and that's where we get a lot of Zack Snyder films because he makes the look of the films very artiste. It's just the writing of the films that in
that
certain
make it
ways are
popcorn.
that could be very popcorn. But the look of the film is very artiste. It feels like it's a portrait
Watch,
in motion.
just watch Watchmen. Just watch
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah. So
That's
I
all.
mean,
Just watch that movie. You'll understand.
you don't understand what we're talking about. And hell, even just look at Batman v Superman. The movie looks so beautiful. Just the cinematography, the imagery that Zach was doing. And but this movie is not about the cinematography. It's not truly about the cinematography. It's about the story and about the character depth of Arthur de-evolving himself from a good-natured man to becoming a, a sadistic sociopathic murderer. So I mean, it was a fun ride and I enjoyed it, and I know that Dave Hawk enjoyed it, and I want everybody to watch it. So like I've said before, like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit the bell. We'll try to get some more of the podcasts out. There's
Yeah.
one I would like to do with Hawk, and it is talking about more of like the Batman universe and our favorite Robins. And I know his is
Red Hood, Jason Todd.
and mine is Tim Drake. I love Tim Drake, and our reasons why and what other than my video, what do we personally feel about what's going on in the comic book universe right now? So I want to thank everybody for joining with us, and we try to keep this. Hey, guess what? We got this around an hour and under an hour and 40. So
What? That's
congratulations.
amazing.
Right. All
Golf
right,
club.
but thank you everybody. You have a great night.
Good night.